night, we going up. Don't let the odds stay out of love. So much on the line to give it up. You know the mission, you gotta get it on Monday night. Monday night, we going up. Don't let the odds stay out of love. So much on the line to give it up. You know the mission, you gotta get it on Monday night.
Nothing was given, I had to work. I got no limits, huh? Short on the 15, back on the first. Either way, I'ma get it, Lord be my witness, Feel the pressure, but never let them deflect you from goals. You just keep your head up, we rose from nothing. Remember, we set up shop and remember, contribute, get hit together. Plus they know that we better, they know that we'll never let up. Fire within me, ice in my veins. Fire within me, ice in my veins. If I get cold, I'm about to heat up. Only I stress, I kick my feet up. Fire within me, ice in my veins. Fire within me, ice in my veins. If I get cold, I'm bound to heat up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another day of the official Fissure Universe Episode 4, brought to you by Fissure on the official Fissure Universe channel. Welcome. This is the playoffs. We're here for it. We're on different sides. I'm the Dire now. You're the Radiant.
I'm the good guy.
Yeah, you're the good guy now. I'm the bad guy. Good guy, bad guy. Now I'm the bad guy. What do you think the B in B Cop stands for? Bad cop. That's right. That is correct. And now we're ready. We're going to be getting into some official Dota business here. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. But this is the final official results good guy, bad guy of the Swiss stage. Taking a look all the way around. Some unfortunate eliminations. Boom, 1 dub, Aurora, Wildcard, Talon, Night Pulse, M80, and 1 move. We bid you farewell. And then the qualified for the playoffs, we've got Spirit, Tundra, PARIVISION, Tidebound, Liquid, Falcons, Gaming Gladiators, and BB Team.
I would say kind of expected. Maybe you could swap in Aurora for one of these teams, but they did not have a good run so far in the tournament. They really looked hot and cold, and these are the big dogs. You see the big discrepancy between some of the top-tier teams here and teams that got eliminated. But, yeah, Team Tidebound, they're still in the run. They finished off Swiss stage with 3-1. Had, like, one really bad day, but they really stepped it up.
Yeah, they stepped it up pretty well. PARIVISION, I think, showed up pretty well as well. Let's take a look at the schedule. We are now on to just one stream, one official broadcast. Team Tidebound against PARIVISION going to start it off today at 10 a.m. CET, also known as 5 a.m. EST, or EST. Team Spirit against BetBoom Team is the hot match at 1:30. And then you've got Tundra Esports against Falcons and Team Liquid against Gaming Gladiators. You have hot match over Team Spirit and BetBoom Team. It's 4 hot matches.
Pretty much. Yeah, we saw a lot of these matches. How many times we've seen Team Liquid against Gaming Gladiators in the last 2 years? There's one matchup that we haven't seen, and that's PARIVISION against Tidebound. I mean, Tidebound is a relatively new team, but they never met against each other because PARIVISION, they were not playing at Wallachia.
Right.
And Team Tidebound, they got eliminated relatively early on in the tournament as well. But yeah, going to be very interesting. I think these two teams have very, very active carries. I think there's going to be a lot of contest between the hero pool coming out from the position 1. Both Satanic and Shiro had some records broken. At one point of the tournament, Shiro had the least stats. Now it is Satanic who's dying the least so far from all the players at the tournament. If you remember some of his performances, he was really popping off on either Phantom Assassin when he was playing TB. And we can look at the team roster. Tidebound.
Yeah. Shiro, Nothing to Say, Bach, Planet, and Innocent. So now in the 1-5 format. I like that. Looking nice here. Team Tidebound playing pretty well. I gotta say though, I've taken the hint, Lacoste. I've gone to Bone Chill for my Ancient Apparition.
How did it go?
I am 3-1 so far. I am winning. I'm doing well. It is life-changing.
You're a stubborn lad, B-Cup. It took you good
2 years.
A month, 2 years, maybe even. Now, it's been popular in the last month or so, but yeah, PARIVISION, the squad, very familiar. I think this squad also is very good at executing their drafts. We've seen quite a lot of interesting stuff coming out from them. If we... last series that they played against Gaming Gladiators, the minus armor strat that they did have with Dazzle, Phantom Assassin, ET, and Slardar, but we can do the coin toss and check what they're gonna choose, and it did go in favor of PARIVISION, and they will choose overall first pick. Heroes that they've been opening up with most of the time, there's literally no overlapping in this tournament. Every single time they opened up basically with a different hero. So gonna be very interesting to see how they're gonna approach it, because this team plays pretty much anything. They have position 4 9 class who is pretty much playing some non-meta stuff. He's gonna be the guy that is gonna be inventing new stuff. He's playing Ember Spirit position 4. He's the one who's playing Tinker from position 4, which we haven't really seen much. His Techies performance against Gaming Gladiators was top tier. And of course, Jungle Venomancer, position 4 Night Stalker, which is kind of meta right now, but he was one of the first ones who actually started the trend.
Right. Well, I did try that Jungle Venomancer. I did do it from the 5 position, though. I had more net
9
worth
reports?
than... No, we won. We won. First of all, that's how you stop a report from coming, is just winning the game. But I did it in the safe lane, and I had 15,000 net worth in like a 24-minute game. I couldn't believe how much farm I was getting from this.
It is
works.
insane.
It's
it is
so
insane.
good.
But you also gotta deliver. You gotta do something with that farm. You can't just keep on jungling once you get to your first big item. Whether we're talking about some Orchid, Mech, you also gotta be pressuring the towers. But very, very annoying hero to deal with, and it might get contested in this. Like basically, we have Venomancer player from the offlane. DM was like one of the Venomancer enjoyers, not the title that you want to have in life, but I know the hero's not played from the offlane, but just something to point out.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun hero to play. I think that we'll see it contested here. A couple teams have been banning it in the first phase against PARIVISION, so it'd be no surprise to see it banned. But there are a lot of things that you got to like take away from 9 class. I feel like he's the Amar of this team. Does that make sense? Because the people used to ban strictly for Amar when they were playing Falcons a long time ago, and it feels like the first phase at least, or even coming into the second phase, as long as 9 class's hero isn't picked, they are banning against this guy. They're making sure that he has to dig deep in the pool of heroes that he has to play.
Yeah, the one hero that I'm going to be looking into is whether they will take Phantom Assassins. Whoever has the first pick, I think there's going to be a high chance that one of them just snatch Phantom Assassin. And I believe the draft is ready, so we can pull it up on screen. Looking at the heroes that they played, some of their most successful heroes on the side of Tidebound, it's been Gyrocopter and it's been Faceless Void. So Gyrocopter exclusively played from the safe lane. This hero, a lot of the times they wouldn't even like pick it late in the draft. They were picking it relatively early on, and they were doing so well with it. I think Shiro kind of shines on these type of heroes that can join early on. Some of the twin gate rotations that he's doing, and also his laning stage is pretty strong.
Yeah, Shiro also plays very aggressive. He definitely loves leaving lane early, but that also comes with the fact that if he's going to be playing the Phantom Assassin, which you said is going to be contested, should be in the draft at least soon enough. We were showing the players for a split second. I think maybe we had the draft below us for a moment. There it is. Coming back again. Round number 2. And Team Tidebound. Dazzle, Monkey King, Magnus, and then got to get rid of that Enigma. And then the Gyrocopter Night Stalker getting banned here from PARIVISION. So you've left the Veno open if they do want to go into that route. Ancient Apparition, Jakiro is definitely in the mix of heroes that are still available. Not that you're normally picking it first pick, but Muerta is there. We've seen a lot of teams pick their carries first as well.
Yeah, I think there's a high chance, as I said, that there's going to be just Phantom Assassins straight away. There is also Darkseer available for PARIVISION. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the current like meta, how teams already figured out so quickly. Oh, this is also in the poll. In my head, this hero is always banned. But yeah, I think some of the heroes are so much stronger than the others. If we're talking about the uncontested heroes at the tournament, there's a good amount. There's 31 heroes that are uncontested. We also saw, I would say, 15, maybe even 20 heroes who got like banned or maybe even picked one. So basically 50 heroes are kind of in a bad spot compared to the others. And there's that Phantom Assassin that I mentioned. It's just that they play so well with it. And let's see if they decide to remove the smoke. Also, I love the Phantom Assassin as a response to Nature's Prophet because you are building into Battle Fury. We saw a lot of the times in the super late game or even like mid game where you're running out of slots, you can't get out of the Sprout. So you have both Battle Fury and you also have Blink Strike, so you don't care about Sprout at all.
So what's the protection ban here for PARIVISION? Are you getting rid of the Warlock early, or are you just like, is there anything in particular specific to Nature's Prophet that you want to get rid of? They
this
banned
is
the
the
Primal,
one. So
that might have been it, yeah.
this also says it's one of the worst matchups for Nature's Prophet. This to me, like maybe they could have tried to camouflage this pick a little bit because he can be played from position 4. Nature's Prophet, that is. But 2 beefy boys, this is something that NTS plays really well. He comes online quickly. This is basically Primal Beast who doesn't need levels, doesn't need items to join the fights. And Slaughter as well. We saw a lot of Slaughter being popular from the mid lane. Some teams still played from the off lane, but you want to have that benefit from the river because he is a bit of a stronger laner. We had an interview with No One. He was talking about matchup against Puck. He did pick Slaughter into Puck, talked how he kind of lost when he was playing against Quinn. He lost the laning stage, but still managed to do so much. I think it also shows the strength of the hero.
Right. Are you surprised? I mean, Jakira's really strong, but are you surprised that they didn't want to go to the Warlock here for Team Tidebound? I know that they do enjoy that 4-position Ancient Apparition, so that isn't exactly out of the mix either in terms of what Team Tidebound want.
Dire team pick.
There you go, Clockwork. Okay. So now you've got Cogs and Sprout if you want to wrap heroes up.
Does this say we want to pick up Darkseer? Because Clockwork is a little bit... Clockwork doesn't say much here. He's good against Jakiro because Jakiro can't use his spells once you get on top of him. Not the greatest hero against Phantom Assassin. They could also run Nature's Prophet Clockwork in the safe lane if Ducalis wants to play it. But most of the time, I do associate Clockwork with 9 class.
There is only 2 games played with Clockwork. He's 1-1 so far. And it was played by Talon for the win and Night Pulse for the loss. So not a lot of information in terms of what it's been picked up with. It was played in that win for Talon with Nature's Prophet, though, and Terrorblade.
Clockwork has been nerfed pretty heavily. When we added double damage to creeps on battery, this was the time where he felt really, really strong. And now we remove that, and the hero is kind of meh. It does have this global presence. But yeah, good amount of healing coming out from Coddle.
Ooh, they
and
took
not picking up.
Darkseer.
Yeah, they did not want to take Darkseer for themselves. I guess they wanted to see something more. But this combination of the heroes, really loving what Tidebound had. Maybe I've seen quite a lot of these combos during Wallachia with Jakiro, Darkseer +1. It just looks so insane, easy to execute. You go inside the time zone, lower the cooldown, and also you have
5 seconds remaining.
abilities. Like, you're never going to be lacking damage with this type of a draft. And this is such a good offlane Faceless Void game because you don't care about Keeper of the Light rotations most of the time. You can get away from Clockwork. You also have ways of getting out of the Sprout. This is position 4 Faceless Void that we're talking about because it's going to be Darkseer on the offlane, but still feels very, very strong. PARIVISION with the draft, not that I expected. I don't think they played a similar strategy like this. A lot of the times you will see them be very heavy on lockdown. This time around, they are kind of lacking it, so want to see what he wants to go for. There's a high chance that no one wants to play Ember in this one. I'm a big fan of Ember, Coddle, Clockwork combination. Very easy to just run at heroes. Cheap lockdown against Darkseer, against Faceless Void. Probably will be removed.
Puck gets banned. I will say my total analytical analysis on this draft from Team Tidebound is if they pick a red mid, they have technically gone into a full purple draft. Now I say that because if they pick a red mid, then the red and the blue have Phantom Assassin goes together, makes purple. Jakiro's heads make purple. And then we've got 2 purple heroes.
Very important.
Very important things to say. But then also, at the same time, I do like this Void. We've seen some funny stuff with the Void. How does it really do with the Darkseer? Do you just put an Ion Shell?
That's better. You at least have some kind of a damage. You're not Time Walk into Blood Grenade.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, what else do we get from this? Because how many times are we going to see just Blood Grenade, Void, Time Walk, Blood Grenade, and then I guess that's all I can do and walk away? Ursa and Storm are 2 very different heroes to ban.
Remaining.
Yeah, they don't have that much lockdown. They wanted to split up the combo with Keeper of the Light and Storm. And also, they think that this Nature's Prophet can still go mid, of course. But banning out Ursa, not something Darkseer likes to play. Neither does Faceless Void, because you can't Time Walk. You can't Dispel. Ursa's what's it called? Fury Swipes. There we go. It's still early. It's 10 a.m. My brain doesn't work.
Team pick.
So early for you.
Radiant team pick.
And a last pick, Tiny here. Okay, well, this is a hero we've seen picked first a lot. The fact that it made it all the way through the draft is a little, maybe not concerning, because the way we've seen, at least for me and you, the way we've seen this hero is that it doesn't do well. But since the hero was 14 and 14, it's now 8 and 2 since that time. So obviously the better teams have gotten their hands on it towards the end of the Swiss stage, now the playoffs, and that win rate is starting to shift up. It's 22 and 16 overall.
No, not too bad. It's just that we've been blessed or cursed with the games where Tiny's just straight up losing.
Every game.
But they are keeping the flex open. They could play this Nature's Prophet in the mid, Tiny, so they will see the matchup and then decide. So NTS needs to find the hero. That's going to be good against both of them. Potentially. I think it's a good, like, Razor, maybe even OD type of a game if they want to run it. Phantom Assassin is not as slow as it was before. You build into Corrosion, you join some of these early fights. We saw Satanic when he played it. 12, 13 minutes into the game, he was involved in 11 or 12 kills, which is pretty impressive.
Thinking about both carries performances with this Phantom Assassin. I mean, Chiro's had some good games, but man, we saw Satanic. What was it, 18-minute Battle Fury BKB Yasha come through, and they go Pangolier for this last pick from Team Tidebound. I was kind of, it is lockdown. Rolling Thunder, you can use it, like Blink, Rolling Thunder, knock somebody up a couple times. But I was kind of expecting maybe something a little bit more lockdown oriented coming from the mid. I like the OD that you mentioned.
Seems like they wanted to have slightly more team fight coming out from the mid lane, even though they are not lacking team fight by any means. I think the damage, if I'm looking at this draft, I kind of prefer what Tidebound had. They do come online relatively early on. Darkseer with 1-2 items, Phantom Assassin with 2 items. I think it's going to be... It also depends how much Faceless Void is going to be able to achieve. And if we talk about Pango, there aren't really big counters to Pango in this game. Clockwork, it can be a bit annoying. And then you have Tiny, but other than that, if we're talking about some burst, some explosive damage once he picks up the shard, they don't really have that much. So I'm kind of liking this Pangolier pick. Overall, coming into the series, I would say that PARIVISION is definitely a favorite in this one, and I would say quite heavily. I would say even like 65-35 before seeing the draft. But I do feel that PARIVISION did end up with having slightly more difficult draft to execute, and I think when it comes down to the team fight, Tidebound, they just have it, but we should not underestimate the power of Tiny plus Keeper of the Light. This also has been, because Keeper of the Light is playing Recall Facet, so he can be, like, he can teleport himself to Tiny, give him mana, give him move speed, and you also have Abaddon with Coddle. I don't think I've seen this lane before, but should be interesting because you're lowering the cooldown on Abaddon. Imagine if Abba played the other facet, which allowed him to get more cooldown.
You just never have cooldowns. Everything would always be off cooldown.
Perma shield, but
It almost kind of is like that, right? Like, I mean, the cooldown reduction is going to be pretty heavy, but just constantly having mana for that shield is going to be brutal.
Yeah, Abaddon has been nerfed in 7.38b. Mana cost has been increased on the Aphotic Shield. That's why you see Abaddons nowadays picking up 1 Null Talisman.
The cooldown reduction is going to be pretty heavy, but just
before you could definitely skip it.
Take a look at the facets. Everything pretty much expected. Crash Landing, Ironwood Treant. No surprise on most of these. I am kind of
30 seconds to battle.
interested in that Kato Abaddon lane because it just feels like, what, Aphotic Shield lasts 12 seconds. It was decreased from 15. And the cooldown is pretty decent after level 2.
You have those extra 2 seconds with Mephitic Shroud, so it lasts for 14 seconds. Usually it is popped, but it's going to be a lot of harassment, but so it will be from Tidebound's safe lane. We're talking about Phantom Assassin plus Jakiro. This lane, if you're caught out of position, you could definitely die. 1 dagger slows you down. Jakiro with the insane amount of slow throws in Blood Grenade. And Bach is also going to be playing, I would even say, his signature hero. Darkseer.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we could check how many games he has on Darkseer, but when it's a good patch for Darkseer, he will definitely play it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Darkseer definitely giving this Faceless Void a little bit more to work with than just the early time walk that's available. Not something that he really works well with in that early part of the game. It's usually, what, 1-1, at least start. We've seen its Voids even ignore time lock pretty heavily.
1 point is fine, so you can stop TPs, maybe get some Lucky Bash. But when you're playing it from position 4, you want to be as tanky as possible. You are going in pretty YOLO and not wanting to die. That's why we see a lot of stat items like drums. We see a lot of glimmers, dual scepters, so you can buy time for your second time walk.
Mm-hmm. And then the time dilation, especially when you're hitting the upper levels of time dilation, are very frustrating to deal with.
Such an annoying spell. Like, you, a lot of the times you don't see the effect of it in the middle of a team fight, but if you get 2-3 man time dilation post BKBs, you kind of won that fight already.
I think a little bit later into the game as well with time zone and what is going to be affected here in terms of having that cooldown acceleration of 400%. You know, you think about Stifling Daggers coming out, or even having multiple Phantom Strikes to jump multiple times as that gets into a higher level. That could be very fight-winning if you're able to attack at such a crazy speed for Shiro.
A lot of low cooldown spells that they can utilize inside of time zone.
Yeah. That is definitely what I'm looking at here. We saw Pulverize the other day, which was very funny.
It goes out so quickly. A bit of a slower start to the game as we expected. I don't think they're going to be able to get many kills in the side lanes. Maybe once Clockwork hits that level 3, if they can connect onto Darkseer, but Faceless Void's definitely not gonna die. And this is also not a hero that is super active by any means, but might be getting the courier kill. Never mind. Which planet do you think this guy is? Is he Mercury? Is he Uranus?
It actually works like Krill Eater. First
So
you
he
start
becomes
at Pluto,
bigger. I see.
and then you become bigger.
Is Pluto back to planet status? I think it is, because it was taken away from him like a decade, maybe 15 years ago.
I don't think it
And then
is.
they called him some like dwarf planet, and then I think he became planet again.
Did we reinstate Pluto? Chat?
I
Do
think
we know
we
this
did.
in 5 minutes? Did we? We'll get an answer on that in 5 minutes. We might have to come back to this conversation of if Pluto's a planet, but yeah, I think planet it works like Krill Eater. At the end,
Planet
he'll
is
be
the one
Jupiter.
who's killing couriers. This is the second courier that he did kill.
Dire structures are fortified.
Yeah, Satanic losing his courier as this Nature's Prophet, who this Nature's Prophet has a pretty stellar win rate, if I'm not mistaken, because it's been banned so many times. It's been banned 57 times, played 16. It's 11-5 in those 16 games. Like, this is definitely a hero that people don't want other teams to get their hands on. That is for sure. Mid lane, no one. What's this matchup like for Tiny? It seems pretty even so far.
Yeah, it should be pretty even. No one did pick up 1 point in toss, which is mid-tiny, and you're also playing against Pango, so you can catch him mid-air, stop his shield crash from going off. We see a lot of safe lane Tinys completely skipping toss, playing, of course, with a different facet, going for a 4-0-4-1 build. Looks kind of weird. Tiny was always about that toss, and seeing
Right.
him not skill it does feel kind of awkward. Guys, I'm grabbing my stick and I'm gonna poke you. Do something. It's been 5 minutes.
He just wants to do something. Although it's a palm tree this time. He grabs a stick. It's a palm tree. That's a full tree. That'll hurt. Planet. In a little bit of trouble here. Could be dropping for first blood, and will. He had a bit of a problem, and so does Innocence down bottom, but they turn this around on DM. They don't quite have the damage, but Satanic making the rotation. That does mean that Innocence is to fall. Picking him out.
Killing off 2 supports. We said that Satanic loves to get involved relatively early on. Uses teleportation, comes to the lane, and will go back through the Twin Gate. They already placed Observer Board, 9 class did, near the Twin Gate to see the rotation coming out from the bottom lane. It's very difficult to kill Tiny in the mid lane. You need to bring... Even with Jakiro and Pango using Rolling Thunder, I'm not sure if you have enough to kill him. This hero has way too much strength. Especially once he hits level 6, that extra armor that he gets makes it very difficult. And they're lurking around the mid lane, but they might need Faceless Void as well.
Yeah, they might. They want to try and go for this. They're going to start that Rolling Thunder. They've got the Ice Path, but do they have the damage to get the kill here? No one getting kind of low, but they do have 9 quests. The Illuminate, they'll throw that over. Ducalis comes in, Blood Grenade thrown, Shield Crash on the 2. But now they bring in Satanic, and that's a trade of both mids, and most likely this Jakiro as well. There's not really a spot for him to go to. And it'll be a long-winded kill, but for the side of PARIVISION, it makes it 4-1.
Just as I said it, the Tiny is almost impossible to kill. They need to bring 3 heroes.
Is under attack.
It took them such a long time. And again, Satanic gets involved. He's involved in all 4 kills. 3-6 minutes. He doesn't have Wrath of Nature available yet. So that's going to be an extra global presence. And you have Clockwork and Tiny who can set things up for you. We didn't talk too much about DM because the laning stage has been pretty silent. He's doing fine in terms of CS. Nothing too crazy, but we'll definitely start to catch up.
Things down bottom have been very quiet. You're seeing Satanic move around with this Nature's Prophet, but now it kind of makes you want to expect something from Shiro, right? Like, he's going for this Battle Fury. He picks up that Orb of Corrosion, which has become the standard here for the Phantom Assassins. But, you know, are we going to see the typical Shiro who makes that jump at level 6, who's willing to try and get a couple of kills here? Because it's not that easy, especially if we do see DM get involved. These are some tanky heroes that are on the side of PARIVISION with an Aphotic Shield or, you know, Cogs or a front line of Tiny Avalanche Toss. It's not an easy kill to get on anyone.
No, if he commits, there's a really high chance that he will die.
Coming down. He'll go for Satanic,
Sprout.
but now the Sprout, the Time Walk, the Cogs around on Planet, and he'll end up dead. And even with the wall commitment, maybe with a little help from Shiro, if he had come over, they could have made something happen. But Nothing to Say is also a little bit late to this as well.
They need either Y to also be there, or they need Nothing to Say. Because this is Faceless Void position 4. He goes in, Blood Grenade, Time Dilation. It's not enough. And it seems like PARIVISION, they are very ready for every single move that they're making. And there's also a bit of a funny interaction with Cogs and Sprout. So you can like push yourself out. We could see him pushing himself out and sprouting the other guy. And now PARIVISION we'll start to look for some more kills, especially once the Collis hits that level 6. Combine that with Wrath of Nature. And also, this is the combination that we're probably going to see. It is insane what you can do with Keeper of the Light and Nature's Prophet if we're talking about the push. So you can have multiple... Yeah, you can have multiple Greater Treants, which is going to make... like, dealing with some Nature's... And imagine super late game. You're playing with... against Nature's Prophet, 3 times level 25, for example.
Oh my god.
Keeper of the Light, recalling on top of you. You can be anywhere on the map. Very dirty.
Dude, I'm doing like in my brain, I'm visualizing that because we've had so many scenarios together where we're just watching one treant just slap a tower down to 0. Hook shot gets used, and Planet going to be calling the Cogs. Ice Path not going to matter for him. He'll try to run, but the Blood Grenade thrown, and one more right click. Oh, missing, but the Rocket Flare does get the kill onto Planet, and now 9 class even going to chase for more. Bach in the vicinity with some help, but not an easy turnaround for Tidebound in any way. Yeah, just to go back to that, we've seen it, where one Treant is just taking tier 3s and taking racks. You're telling me this 30-second cooldown is going to be reduced even further, and you're going to have multiple Greater Treants slapping towers. I mean, buildings are going to fall pretty quick.
They will. You also have Tiny. Other heroes don't deal as much tower damage. Abaddon can with his curse, but as we said, he had a bit of a... still does have a bit of a slower game. Well... carry-to-carry matchup, Satanic already staying 1.4k ahead of the enemy carry. Shiro, this is going to be some really late Battle Fury timing. He's sitting at 0-0-0 right now, hasn't been involved in anything. They lost the tower, and also with the next teleportation, they could easily, if they get a pick-off, they could easily turn that into tower in the mid lane. All you need is bring numbers and maybe get one pick-off.